Wendy Levy Gallery, we're delighted to be hosting an exhibition of work by Janina Cebertowicz. Janina is one of the most respected artists in the Northwest. She's been exhibiting for almost 40 years and has an international fan base. This is her first solo show in Manchester for a number of years, so it's very exciting.
Sickert was one of the people who set up the art college that I went to by the Academy of Art, and so I became interested in more contemporary British painters, you might say, compared with the Renaissance, and then the teachers that had influenced me, like Peter Kinley was there, William Scott came along. Now he did quite abstracted still lifes, but he came and did a tutorial with me at one point and told me to keep my small drawings going, because I did little small figure drawings. So you can see those in the opera works and things that I do. That's that influence there. The subjects that I'm interested in are always ones that have got a little bit of a narrative, and they are varied. So, for example, the mills are related to my background and my father, and when I was a little girl going to the mill, and we used to play on a Sunday. Health and safety did not exist. Play in the mill on a Sunday when my dad was maintaining the machines and so on. But he worked in a variety of mills around Oldham and Shaw. Really on foundation course it started because I went out and did drawings, etchings of the mills that are now no longer there. That's influenced by Sickert and earlier painters who used the grid system to enlarge the pieces into a studio work. I like to leave the grid showing. I mean, some people say, well, why is it there? But it's because actually Sickert used to put the grids on top afterwards to give this feeling that it's made by a hand rather than a machine, and it's not photographic. So I'm interested in landscape, and that evolves into my meadows and the meadows down the road that they planted, so it's like urban meadows. Then I've got my teacups and still life and the cloths with the flowers on and so on. So everything has to relate, but it's also got to be in a context. It is this narrative, and that ties up with all the music, the opera that I do and so on. So it's very varied, but they all link up in my mind, and my interest is in light and colour. So I hope that comes through in the pieces that I do. I went to operas in Manchester, Leeds and so on, and spent a lot of money, a lot of time. And then I thought, well, I'm not getting much art done, so if I make music the subject of my art, then I can have the music and the art. I would get involved in drawing in the rehearsals and then in the wings later on.
There's a great community of artists here in Rossendale. It's one of the reasons I'm here, and it's been going on for many, many years. And I think Yanni is one of the leading lights of that group these days, and she's an important and vital character within that community. I think Yanni probably inadvertently, at least to my mind, has chosen to work in at least in three areas I know very well, where she's actually selected environments where the light is very particular, very different from one another, and that's in the theatre, that's in the Greek landscapes, and in the flower meadows. They all throw out completely different challenges, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why Yanni has chosen those things to paint. And it's kind of unfashionable these days, I think, in many ways, to think about painting something as basic and as simple as light. That's what Yanni does. She does it superlatively well.
Well, I think you begin buying pictures because you like them. You don't know anything about them. And I think your big fear as a non-artist, a complete amateur, somebody who wouldn't have a clue walking around an art gallery about the technique of what they're seeing, you're frightened, aren't you, that you're going to buy something that doesn't have value, and that's absolutely nonsensical, because it will always have value because you start off by liking it, and that's got to be the principle. So when I saw this piece, I knew I had to have it. It was something that had to come home with me. This painting's in my dining room, and it's actually got another painting next to it, also by Yanni. I have 2 daughters, and it would be my full intention that I will be leaving these to my daughters eventually. They'll be something I will pass on after I've gone. And they were born in this area. This is Lancashire. This is their home. Wherever they travel in future life, this is something they'll have. And it was very important to me when I bought these paintings that I was doing something not just for my lifetime but for future as well. But every time you look at it, it will say something different to you, and that's a really exciting thing to have about a painting. So I have 2 of these, and I look at them regularly, eat dinners with my family. My family come, they look at them and they talk about, and the children say that's mine, and so on in the future. So they're something that are part of the family life as well. When you look at Yanni's work, you've got the most, first of all, you've got the most fabulous levels of observation. She's so accurate, so careful. Every little detail is fabulously noticed and transported to the canvas. So that's the first thing. And then she just brings, as you'd expect of any very fine artist, she brings what she sees and what she understands to it. So I just don't want to sound heavy about this, but there's a sort of spirituality in that, isn't there? This is really quite, there's more than quite, it's very important. And I like her work for all sorts of reasons, but I think the main must be that it's just the sheer quality of the artistry in it, really, that I would come down to. The paintings on the walls are a part of what you're trying to say about your home and what's important to you, and they're the things that become sort of as familiar as your children, your family around you, really, and something that means something to you. So yeah, they're really important.
Janina is a very accomplished artist, and her work is much sought after, and this exhibition provides a wonderful opportunity for people to come and see her work. The exhibition will run for 3 weeks, commencing on the 8th of February, running to the 1st of March.